So now, for the first time in FutureSpeak, I'm going to bring you Bitcoin. Now, I have added Bitcoin to our level 4 charts, where we have in there the weekly, the daily momentum, and the 2-hour momentum lined up with some other great indicators for intraday trading also of Bitcoin. I'm going to tell you right now, and you've probably heard me say it before, I think that the cryptocurrency market's going to have a crash. I'm going to say that right now, that I have a bias, and that there is no limit to how many cryptos can be printed out there. No matter if they tell you there's a 21 million Bitcoin limit, that will not be achieved till the year 2140. You just had a Bitcoin halving, which means that the rate that they're created is cut in half. The amount of money that's paid to the miners is cut in half. So there's less of a demand for them to be created, and less creation or supply makes more value, and that's why you had a big upward tick in there. I'll show you the chart in a second. So I want to say clearly that, besides my bias, I will always be agnostic, and that will be I will always read the charts just as they tell me to, bullish or bearish, depending. Doesn't really matter in the fact that I think we're going to have the crypto dollar come out. Every country's going to have their own cryptocurrency. It may not be built on blockchain, or it'll be something else potentially. But there's a very good chance that the crypto market that we know it now will, 80% of them will be obsolete when that all comes about. But in the meantime, there's demand, there's interest, and we're going to meet that by bringing it to you. So here is /BTC. And you can see in here similar analysis that we have. So what's interesting is that, you can see the cycle patterns. Now, remember, Bitcoin had that giant move out over there. I'm looking at let's go to, we're in a 10-year weekly, so you can only go back so far in there. Where am I on now? I just moved that. 10-year weekly, okay. So the high price right over here was 20,000, something like that. And now we fell all the way down to 3,100. You had a rally back up to 1,400. And then it broke down over here to about 4,000. Now, when it was up in this area right over here, we warned that May 2020 would get a break down below 5,400. And we actually thought it could get down here to 3,100. Well, it fell to 4,000. The timing was perfect. Again, I want you to see corrective period are those yellow ovals. Right in here, this was totally swamped, and you can see almost no decline. How bullish that was. I had called this the bull hook when that occurred, and I said I thought it would have a big break because it hit at the 61.8 from that big decline, and now it moved all the way down to this level. Here we are again, and that is coming into this period of extreme risk. August and September. August, September is a period of extreme risk in Bitcoin. Maybe this is the time of the crash. This rally, you can see, is getting up to the resistance areas right over here. It doesn't really matter to me if it gets out above these levels. We're still going to be in a risky period here. I'm not projecting it to get down to 4,000 anyway. I'm much more projecting it now to be down here under 7,000. Maybe 6,500 in this corrective period. So the cyclical rhythms are there. It's pretty clear. The energies that are pushing it up are dissipating. As you can see, 6-7 weeks of sideways chop in here. Momentum is still strong. This is not going to have a big downside break until this momentum rolls over, and then you get the break. Look right over here where the momentum rolled over right at that point. And yes, that's what brought that decline right there. This one took a while to turn over, and you had that big decline, and this one has not turned over yet. So Bitcoin still holding positive momentum on the intermediate chart. On the daily chart, I want you to see the formations that are right in here. We'll just look at these last 3 harmonic families, and you will see in there the crazy good cycle patterns. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to bring it, because if the rhythms are so clear, then we all can learn from this and have an opportunity for trades. There's not if you're not a Bitcoin futures trader, well, there may not be a lot of opportunity for you, because there's no options in the ETF. The GBTCs do not have options. So here is again, the corrective periods right over here. You can see into those nested areas and how you got those big declines. It's just absolutely perfect. And look where we are right now. So this low right over here, which this nested area comes down to July 2nd. And I'm going to go back to the side by side so you can see right over here, this one, right, this low comes into September. So we know that there's another, at least one total harmonic family that we can't see right over here that's going to contain this big decline that takes you out here into August or September. So when I look at that, and I'm just going to blow this up again and just look at this one harmonic family, look at the clarity in here. You see the minor quarter patterns. Each of those minor quarter patterns makes up the intermediate half. Each of those makes up the full dominant pattern, and we are now entering into this right over here. Now, see this break right over here underneath this level? That pretty much signals that the downside is here and that you could accelerate down. I would look for this support, best case, around 8,100 in this period out into the first week of July is where that lines up. So sometime the next 3 weeks, I think you're going to see a decline of $1,400 to $2,000 in Bitcoin looking at this. If it does better than that and doesn't break as much, well, it's just going to speak to a little stronger period after that coming out over to here, and you can see we're projecting a potential higher high right over there, and that is because this is bullishly configured right here. So we don't really know if this has a huge break and way down over here and there's a panic. Well, that'll change it. We won't be projecting up higher over here, but right now we'd still look for a move up to about 10,700 after this before we set up the really big break that we're talking about. But right now you could get $1,400 to $2,000 on the downside in Bitcoin. So you can see the beautiful cyclic harmonics in there. I think there is a lot to learn when you look at these patterns, and if you're a Bitcoin trader and you see the break in here and you get below this low right there, which was 89.30, you'll know that there's a pretty good possibility you're going to fall another $1,000 or more in that time period. So that is a look at Bitcoin.